Start on Nun Amid Aleph. Okay. I'm going to start Nun Amid Aleph at the Mishnah. It's close to the bottom.
That's what you do?
Yeah. Sorry. Three people that ate together. They're not allowed to divide and bench on their own. They have an obligation to bench together with the Mizuman, so they can say Nevarech to bless Hashem with the invitation. V'chein Daled, v'chein Chamisha, the same with 4 and the same with 5. They can't divide that because you need to have 3. It's not divisible. Vav Nechlakin. 6 can divide. Adasar until 10. 9 would be divided into 3 groups if you want. But 10 you can't divide until you have 1. Let's say there's 2 groups eating in one house. This man,
when you say it's 20, we take it break into 2.
They can break into 2 once they reach 20. 10 groups, 2 groups of 10.
Do we make them? I know shoes. Do we actually make 1,000 or more?
No. We keep it. Yeah, I think we mentioned that halacha is Rabbi Akiva. Rava said halacha. Rabbi Shmuel. This man shemitzasin re'in elo eselo ariel mistarpim mizima. If they can see each other, so then they can join together. Sometimes at an event, there's different tables. If they can see each other, they can join together. If they can't see each other, then they bench on their own. I mentioned once before that in the yeshivas they have a cafeteria, like the lunchroom. So when you go to eat, are you eating together with everyone else, or are you eating alone? It depends which yeshiva you're in. Okay. In mevarchen al hayayin, you don't say a bracha on the wine. Unless you put water into it. The wine has to be mixed with water. In the old days, we're going to learn that the wine was either too strong or the yeast that were used to ferment was so horrible that if you didn't dilute it, you wouldn't be able to drink it.
Does that have anything to do with the fact that wine represents?
Could be. Ask Aaron. He had a Kabbalah question. I said he should ask. Divri Rebbe Lezer. This is the words of Rabbi Eliezer that you have to put water into the wine. The Chachamim say no, you can say a bracha on the wine. And David.
Does it say why?
The Chachamim say that you can say a bracha. Now, it could be that the pshat over here is in the Varchen al hayayin, as you can say, it could be the pshat is interesting pshat that during a meal, the bread covers everything, except wine and dessert. But if you just have a fruit juice, so then you don't have to say a bracha because it's not wine. What bracha would you say on wine that's not deserving of the bracha of hagafen? You would say bar creates probably. So if you would have it during the meal, ein mevarchen al hayayin. You don't say get a bracha there. That's why it says no bracha. Come say mevarchen.
That's what
they know it's already deserving of bar creates. That could be the pshat. Or it could be the pshat simply that you don't say bar creates. In my kamash mulan, the Mishnah said that 3 people that eat together should not divide. What's the chiddush in that? We have another Mishnah that said the same thing. They're obligated to make a zima. Of course, they can't divide. They have an obligation to invite. Let us say grace, and then they say, blessed is the one, right? So the Gemara answers, different possibilities, but we're looking for a chiddush. Why it has to repeat the same law? It says, what is it coming to teach us? This is what it's coming to teach us. The Amar Rabba Amar Shmuel. What Rabba says in the name of Shmuel, 3 people are sitting to eat together. But they didn't start eating. They just sat down to eat. They can't divide already just from the sitting down. I have written down over here that it's from I guess a previous time that they ate but not a diet. So they actually did start. I think that helps the explanation, but I'm not sure if there's a source for that. You follow? They start, once they hit a kazayas, then they have a real obligation.
Otherwise, it's
Okay.
just kind of a point.
Lishna achrina.
Okay. S'mores. Injured.
That sounds good.
Chicory. Lishna achrina. There's another interpretation. There's another version, rather, of what the chiddush here should be. Amar Baba, Amar Shmuel, Hachiktani. This is what it's teaching. This is what it's saying. Gimel shefel echel kacha. So three people are sitting together. Even though each one is eating from his own loaf, each one has his own package. They pack their own lunch, and they're coming and they're sitting together. So are they really eating together? They're eating their own sandwiches. Nevertheless, they can't divide. They have to bench. That's the chiddush. When they're eating together, that they can't divide. They have an obligation. Who says that if they brought their own lunch, that they're considered eating together? Each one's eating his own food. Mashal in here that they are eating together. Inami, or also Yad Rafuna, like Rafuna said. Damar Rafuna. It's a very interesting Gemara. Gimel Shabo, Gimel Chabura. So three people come from three different groups. I don't know what was going on in those groups, but one person from each group left. And why did they leave? Maybe either they weren't allowed to, or they left anyway, or the shaygig, or they ended up coming together and sitting together, one from each of those groups. So we have three people that were displaced. Okay. Displaced from their groups. Einu Rashayin Lachalek, they have to make a mezumin together. That's only if they came from groups of three. In other words, they had originally an obligation to say a zima. Amar Rava. Rava says, and this was only said, when did they now have an obligation to bench together, even though they didn't eat together, but they still didn't bench? That's only if they didn't have a zimun before in their place. But if there was a zimun in their place, that means each came from it. There were 9 people, right? 3 groups of 3. And in each of those groups, they did a zimun. And then 1 from each group didn't actually bench with them, and they left. And they went somewhere else, and now they're sitting together, and they have an obligation to bench. So if they did the zimun already, then it's too late. They can't do a zimun now in their new group, in their new composed group.
They answered
They
the first
answered.
group,
If they answered, then they can't.
then they're done.
Then they're done.
And if
If
they
they
didn't, then
somehow,
how did they make a zimun?
even though they didn't eat together, but the obligation of zimun that was on them before
Still
joins together with this new group, even though they didn't eat together. That's a big chiddush. So
it's interesting that the idea that if they brought their own food, that they'd be separate, because the whole idea of benching is Hashem gives you the food.
Maybe that's the shot. Maybe that's why. Even though they brought their own food, but they still bench together.
That's where two.
The 3 people. So that's the pshat, very good, because you don't look at it from the person's perspective. You look at it from the benching's perspective. They're all eating from Hashem. Very good. If not, if they
eating, it means if they have a loaf, and they cut off one slice or do that.
Yeah.
But if they each bring their own box lunch, say,
right,
then that's considered eating together.
that's the chiddush. That's the chiddush in the second shot.
Okay.
Even though they each brought their own, they had their own loaf.
No, but
It means they all each brought their own lunch.
But eating together normally means I bring my own, you bring your own. We have one loaf. That's considered eating together, even though it's the only thing that's shared is the one loaf.
No, here they're not even sharing the loaf.
Right, that's the exception. But the normal eating considers not a whole meal that's shared. It's just one little.
I don't know.
Loaf.
I don't know. I think normally you would be talking about where you're a guest at a host, and there's a host, and you're invited there, and you're eating together with the host. Someone's providing the food. Yeah, the chiddush is that 3 people are just eating their own food, but they're sitting together. That was the second shot. The third shot is they ate in different places, and they just joined together in this group.
So it's almost like they're strangers. They could be strangers, but all of a sudden there's like this built-in actus.
Because of the obligation to
Right.
then make the zimun. But if they made a zimun already, then parach zimun minayo, it floated away their zimun because they've already answered. Now there's a machlekes Rashi and Tosfos how much of the zimun they answered. Rashi says that they just answered to Baruch Shechal Mishloi. Tosfos says that they waited there for Birch Sazon. Maybe there's more to the machlekes than that, but anyway, that's at least superficially that's what they're saying. Okay, Amar Rava, Minan Minala. Where do I say this? He's the one that said that it depends if they had a zimun already. If not, it goes away. The Tanan, very interesting comparison here. Nita shenignava chetzia, ishavda chetzia, ishcholko achen, ishutfin. If there's a bed, somehow was able to taken apart. Half of it was tamei, and it got taken apart. Half of it was stolen, half of it, or half of it got lost. The brothers inherited it, and then they divided it up. You get this half, I get that half. Or it was owned by partners, and they divided it. So once it's divided up, then it becomes tar, because it's not a bed anymore. Once they put it back together, if they do that, so mikabel tumah mikanal haba, then it becomes bed again, and if it comes in contact with tumah, with impurity, it will become tummy from then on. But the bed, but the old tumah doesn't go back after it's put back together. Mikanal haba in by metal, by the way, it's not like this. You have a metal vessel that is taken apart, you put it back together, the old tumah comes back.
Didn't we learn previously that when something has tumas, for example, broken, as long as a piece of it is usable for some purpose,
Right.
it retains its tumor.
Right. So how do we want to learn this? Let's say that it can't be, that even part of it can't be used. Can't be used. And then you can't use half of it. So we'll have to say. Tosfos mentions over here that why was specifically a bed, any vessel that you take apart. Okay. So what do we see? Al makivan de palgua, once it's divided up, parach la tumah minei. The tumah floats away, fleets away. So hachanami kivan de ismana alayo. Once he did a ziman, parach ziman minayo. The ziman floats away, and they don't get it back when they rejoin. I don't know what the comparison. I don't understand this Gemara. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to look at the commentaries. What exactly? It's just such an interesting comparison. Okay. Beis Chaburas. There's two groups. You said if they can see each other. Do you have anyone have a commentary in there that's clear of what the comparison? Okay. It says something over there about a
If
comparison.
you have taken apart the tumor, goes away. Even if you put it together,
back together.
together.
I just don't understand the part that you made a zimun. They had a zimun. What does that have to do with the tumah floating away? That
Because he's
means
lost his obligation to Mr. Bench with Zuman because it's already been included in this.
is it considered that he did the zimun?
Like
For
over
the
here,
higher up for good, it goes away. For too much, it goes back.
So what does that mean? That
Wow,
That's what he's trying
Okay.
to
it's
say.
amazing.
He says for tahar,
Kitzer.
once
It's
you
a
left,
little bit
the
of
train
an
left.
okay,
Once you bring back the bed, it's coming back again.
it could become
No,
tummy again. So what does
but
that have to
that's-
do with the zimun? With
He's saying
zimun.
once you left for Tara, for a mitzvah, you can't come back. Only for Tumah it comes back. The qualification. But for Tara, it doesn't come back. For
So-
Tara, once the train leaves the station, it's gone. For Tumah,
So Benegay Zimun, they were at one place. Oh, in the left because
or
they did a
Zimah
zimun.
Minaya. Once it left, even if they came back later on, it's not good. Only the
All right.
Tumah comes back.
says here,
That's what he's trying to say.
if three people ate together and and one of them benched on his own before the other two can include him in their zimun, but he does not fulfill his obligation because there's
Yeah,
no
that was
retroactive.
right. That we
He's
had.
already said.
That we had.
That's the
That we-
right. No, his obligation is left
Uh,
because he lost this chance even though the answer is after the fact. He helps them with the zimun, but he doesn't. It's not on his own. That's the
Okay.
floating weight. I don't know what that
Okay.
is.
Let's leave it at that. Beis Chabura Schula. Let's leave something for next time around to be clear.
It says here that.
7 years.
The bed, it loses its status.
You never been
And
anywhere.
right. Right. So now
you
to
remember
take it back
what
to take it back to what does it mean
my
about
7th year, hopefully I'll be able to finish.
it lost
Because
its
we were
obligation to
throughout
the month, and then
It's
once
good.
they rejoin, still doesn't
Really
rejoin.
used to build
Still
for 7
doesn't
years
have an
in advance.
obligation. That's what it is. They lost obligation to the because they ended. Then they rejoin together. It still doesn't get the new obligation. I think that's okay. Beis Chaburas, 2 groups. If they don't see each other, it's a problem. However, they can't join together. Tana, we start in a Bryce and Shamash B'neiim. But if there is a butler, a waiter, or something, Shamash Mitzarfan, he will join them together because it's one waiter for both of them. So you have this one person going back and forth between them. It's interesting that they become one group because of this fellow. You don't say a bracha on the wine, unless you add water. That was a machlekes here, right?
Does it say why?
It doesn't say why yet. We'll see. Taner Rabbanan. Start in a brisa. Yayin, wine, actually nasan seichem mayim, until you put water into it. Ein mevarchim lav bari pri agafen. You can't say bari pri agafen on it. Ela bari pri eitz. Say bari pri eitz. It's a little surprising, but look, it's the fruit of the grape. It's the juice of the grape, and the main part of the grape is to get the wine out of it. But it doesn't have the chashivas of wine until it's drinkable. So at this point, it's just grape. And you can use it to wash your hands for netilas yadayim. Why? Because it's not wine. Wine would be a problem, but this is just mei peris, and Rashi claims that you can use mei peris to wash your hands. Tosfos argues on this. I don't know if
It's
Tosfos
not
done.
very thick wine, very thick grape juice.
Yeah.
So you have to dilute it in order to make the broth.
Right.
And we're
Diluted.
you're weakening it. The
Right.
substance. So you can-
Right.
Use this wine to make bread.
This would be mei peris, yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if it's only 100% made the road, but if you add water to it,
Then
it's
it's
not.
a problem. Misha nasan l'seichem mayim. Once you put water into it, then mevarchim lav bari pri agafen. Then you say bari pri agafen ve'naikel men liyadayim, and you can't use it to wash your hands. That's the picture. But this is the text. You can't use it to wash your hands. Okay. Rashi over here says that you don't say bari pri agafen on the wine that's undiluted. He says the wine is too strong and you can't drink it without water. You hear, David?
That's the reason
It's too strong, and it's not drinkable until you put water into it. The other, I don't know.
When we were in
I don't know
vineyard in Israel.
Yeah.
They said that the problem was that the sources of water didn't know the cleanliness. They would actually take the wine's alcohol. The wine would become extremely alcoholic, like really, really strong. And the idea was that it would clean the water, and then they would drink. All their water had wine in it,
So,
according to their
but that sounds like that sounds like the purpose of the wine was to drink the water.
In general, they said, yeah, that's what they said in general. That the wine was used in all waters because the waters were dirty. So they were hoping that alcohol or whatever would just clean it out.
Because I was never sure that in the Gemara we have this often, Yayin Mazig and all of this. I was never sure if that means that the wine back then was concentrate and you had to add water to make it into wine like the way we have, or if they were drinking like a wine punch. that it wasn't really
The way
not Hawaiian
the
punch, but
the
the Hawaiian
said
punch.
is they let the wine continue fermenting, never stop fermenting.
Oh, so
So
it
it
gets
gets
stronger.
stronger and stronger.
It must be that the grapes have more, what do you call it, bricks.
Make wine.
Sort of bricks. That's how they measure the sugar content.
You can keep going
He
on
may.
the wine.
Okay. Divrei Rebbe Lezer, that's the words of Rebbe Lezer, that there's a difference between how much water is added. You always say Bar Pri Hagafen on wine, even if it's undiluted. And you can't use it to wash your hands ever because it's always wine. And you can't use wine to wash your hands. According to whom does it go? This that Shmuel says, of the past, that a person can do everything he needs with bread. He can use it for this, he can use it for that, and he can also eat it. That's Kaman Rebbe Lezer. It goes like Rebbe Lezer, because Rebbe Lezer said that you can use this fruit juice to wash your hands. It could be there's another Gersa here that he does it the other way. After you add water, you can use it. We read it that before he adds water, he can use it to wash his hands. After he adds water, he can't. Amar Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina says, "Meidim Chacham l'Rebbe Lezer." The Chacham will agree. So when it comes to the Kaishal Bracha, it means the cup that's used for benching, or Kiddush, or Abdullah. Over there, you have to add water. My time, it has to be the best. And only when it's diluted is it the best. For Rabbanan L'Maichazi, according to the Rabbanan, this wine that you're not adding water and you can't use it from Tel Sidayim and you say Bar Pagaf, what can you use it for? It's Karaiti is some sort of, I don't know, does he say what Karaiti is? Some sort of medicine, medicinal drink.
Made from wine and oil.
A potion. Yeah. Potion, yeah, isn't that interesting? See that in French? Potion. Potion. Okay. I tried to look it up in, I have this book, Julius Prus. He wrote this medicine in the Bible and Talmud. Speak book. Okay.
Here it says the words from a Greek word karotos, which is a type of nut-shaped date, and they used to mix it with various liquids like strong wine.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. So what was it? What is it? The type of a date.
Nut-shaped date.
Oh, it's a nut-shaped date. It's a date. That doesn't sound good. Taner Rabbanan was started in the Brachos Daf. Remember, we passed 4 things were said regarding bread. Don't put raw meat on the bread. It's going to make it disgusting because it's going to absorb the juices from the meat. Don't pass a full cup over the bread because it will spill and it will make the bread not nice. In Zarkan as a pass, you can't throw bread. And you can't put the plate on the bread to support the plate with the bread. Because the bread needs to be treated with respect. And
can you allow still other foods?
we're going to see soon that not. But by bread, there's a special din, which we'll see. Amemar, Mazutra, Ravashi. Amemar, Mazutra, and Ravashi, Karchu Rifta Bahadiyada. They had a meal together. Isla come out, Tamir be reminded. Brought in front of them dates and pomegranates. Shakal Marzutra took Pasak Lakameh de Ravashi Distina. Now, Distina means a piece of meat. He threw in front of Ravashi this piece of meat. I don't know what it has to do with the dates and the pomegranates, but Amalei, so one of them said to them, you don't hold of what it says and you're not allowed to throw bread? He responded, that was taught about bread, not about food. I'm sorry, did I translate bread? It says, you don't hold what the Brisa says and you're not allowed to throw food? He says, that's only referring to bread. But this I was allowed to throw. You have it that he threw in the art scroll. Does it say that he threw dates or that he threw
There's one
bread?
opinion that the meat was the fruit.
Yitzchak,
What do
give
you mean
yourself
meat
one.
was fruit?
Yitzchak, give one and yourself.
I'm giving.
I'll give him one.
Back it up.
Get
back
rid
it
of
up.
it.
According to this explanation, however, it's unclear.
Oh, he went forward.
Shleime
This
Mishnah.
is
So
50b.
suggests the Gemara should read. He threw it in front of Rav Asi's portion of cooked meat. He threw one of the fruits onto the table.
Oh, in front of the Rav Ashi's portion of meat, the Kamed Rav Ashi, he threw the fruit. Okay, interesting. So the Gemara asks, 1 second. That's talking about, the Gemara said, someone said to who, it doesn't say who said to who. What do you have there, who said to who? Rav Ashi said, or Mar Zutra threw it. So Rav Ashi tells him, or Amemar tells him?
Rav Ashi says.
Okay. Rav Ashi says to him, you don't hold about not throwing food? He says that's only bread. But we have a rice that says just like you can't throw bread, you can't throw food. Another source, you can't throw any food. Amalei.
You're supposed to throw anything, really.
Amalei. But he said Vahatanya started in the rice of No, I have a rice that says that even though you're not allowed to throw bread, but you're allowed to throw food. There's no question. The mimis, the lime mimis. Depends if it becomes spoiled when you throw it. Something that doesn't get spoiled, you could throw. If it doesn't get ruined. Like the candies and the thing. That they throw. Right, those candies, they throw the candies. Those types of things you can throw. So this fruit,
back then?
I'm sorry?
Think they threw candies back
We'll
then?
see in a moment. We'll see, something similar. So, okay. Whatever the case is, it comes out that bread, even if it won't get spoiled, that you're not allowed to throw. There's other food that there's a difference between if it will get spoiled or not. Bread can never be thrown.
You have to give it as a food to other animals.
So you can throw it to the animals.
Yes, to animal you can feed.
Once it's spoiled, once it's moldy or whatever. Taner Rabbanan. Start in a brayso. They can pour wine into tubes in front of a chassan and kala. It was supposed to be some sort of entertainment, like confetti, rather, that they would do.
No, it's a siman of bracha.
Okay.
Same thing when the wine on Abdallah's. Some customers,
Very good.
Moroccan have custom to pour wine. The natural simcha.
Right. Right. It's a sign of blessing. And they would throw kernels of grain and nuts, in the summer, in front of a bride and groom. That was the old-fashioned candy. It was nuts. Yeah, but not in the winter. In the winter, it would get spoiled. But you can't throw cake. Like those pies.
Food fire.
Ball it up like snow.
Okay. Not in the summer, not in the winter. Okay. Remember, I was in 770, and they were throwing candies or something, and the rabbi stood up, said, "No throwing raisins." He said it takes us hours to clean it off the floor. It gets squished into the floor. You don't throw it. If there's any raisins, don't throw. It opens up. Okay.
Raisin boxes.
Amar Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says, if someone forgets, puts food in his mouth, but he didn't say a blessing. So what does he do? Rabbi Yehuda says, you put it onto one side of your mouth, you hold it into like one cheek, and you say the blessing. One brayso says that you swallow it. Another brayso says you spit it out. Another brayso says that you put it onto one side. So how do we resolve this contradiction? Either say it's different opinions or different scenarios. Like kasha, it's not a problem. It's not a question. The Tanya Boila, and this one that said that you swallow it, the mashkin. That's talking about liquid. If you spit it out, you're not going to want to drink it again. It's spoiled. And if you put it to one side, you can't really hold liquid in one side while you're saying a blessing. The Tanya Poltan, this that says you can spit it out. That's talking about something that doesn't get disgusting. A lollipop. That's what they do with lollipops. They put it in, they take it out. That's the point of the stick. Other than the kid shouldn't swallow it. That's Tanya Misalkan.
I never knew what the stick
Other Tanya Misalkan. B'midi demamis. What does it say that you put it on the side of your mouth? That's food that would be disgusting. You can't put out that food. It's going to look terrible, gross. So b'mimi the loy mames nami l'salkinel. We're on top of the manal. Something that doesn't get disgusting. Why don't you just put it on the side? Just put it on the side. So here we have the rule. Trigmar Rab Yitzchak Kasa Kamid Rab Yesi Barab Mishmed Rab Yechanan. He says like this. Mishum Shenem. It says in the pasuk, Yimale pi tilasecha. My mouth is full with your praise. It means that you're really not supposed to have anything in your mouth when you're saying a praise to Hashem.
Where's Kaskasa?
Rab Yitzchak Kaskasa.
Where's that? I know, but where's?
Oh, where is that? I don't know.
I never heard that.
There's a rabbi on the website, the Kaskas. Maybe that's Where is it? You have a shaitel? Boy, my name is Rab Chisda. They asked Rab Chisda. Mishachal v'shasa v'lay berach. Maushi yasav yivara. Someone that ate and he drank and he didn't say a bracha. Should he now say a bracha? Amalahu. He responds. Rab Chisda responds. Mishachal shum v'rechi naida. Someone that ate garlic and his breath smells. Yasav yechal shum. Should he continue to eat garlic? Acher kadeshi rechi naida so that his breath should stink. Like he should eat more to make it worse. So what's the pshat over here? What's he saying? The person ate, and we're asking, should he say a bracha now? So if you look at Rashi, Rashi says that he responds, you should eat more garlic so that it should smell more. Look at how Rashi concludes. V'yasa bracha levatala. And you should say a bracha afterwards and not the. Okay, now there's a problem with this Rashi, as we're going to see in the Gemara, that it's not going to fit with the following Gemara. So the Marsha takes out those last words, v'yasa bracha levatala. He says that Tos nafal and it's supposed to be like this. Should he continue to make it worse and eat further without saying another bracha? He has to, what, just because he ate a little bit without a bracha, you think he's like grandfathered in and now he doesn't have to say a bracha? He's continuing to eat. He has to say a bracha now for what he's going to eat further.
So something so simple like that. The Gemara has to tell us that if you remember, continue to eat, that you should say a bracha at that time. Sounds elementary.
Right.
Like what?
Right.
You just remember you didn't say a bracha. So start saying
so
a bracha.
Therefore, Rashi's the printed version of Rashi has a bigger chiddush.
Right.
Amar Ravina says Hilka. Therefore, this Hilka is what forces the Mashiach to say to change that. Therefore, Afilu Gomer Sudasai Yachsav Yavaret.
I mean, force him to eat more so you can make that bracha which will cover it.
Here they're saying to do that.
Therefore,
he finished his meal already.
He should eat. Yeah, he should. If he
and continue to eat.
Afilu Gomer Sudasai. What does it mean Gomer Sudasai? He's totally finished.
Yeah, so we're saying
that's why according to Rashi, it's a bracha. You know, saying that.
But that's why the Marsha says eat more so that you can continue to make the bracha.
But right, but Rashi over here says on the Hilka, since that if he remembers in middle, he should say a new bracha. Therefore, even if he finished his meal, he should say a new bracha, which means nothing to do with Rashi's v'yasa. Definitely Rashi's.
Is he eating more food or he's not eating?
I don't know. It's even like if he finished the Tanya, take a look at where the brisa that he uses. Taval va'ala. He went to the mikveh and he comes up. Amar Baliyasi says when he gets up, Baruch Hashem Kedushan Mitzvah V'Tzman Ala Tefillah. Says the bracha afterwards. See, it's okay to say the bracha after he ate. Says it after the mikveh, right? V'loihi. So you can say it in the mikveh also, but once you dip one. But it's not so. The Gemara says, "Hasami karagav lechazu." But there, he wasn't able to say the bracha before because Rashi, according to Rashi, was tamei. According to Taisvus, because he was converting, he wasn't able to say a bracha beforehand. And Taisvus then says, therefore, all of our netilas yadayim are done after we wash. Based on that, everything that has to do with becoming clean is only after we wash. Based on this, because beforehand you weren't able to say a bracha. The Rambam doesn't hold like this. The Rambam says by the Seder, the Rambam writes, say a bracha and wash your hands. Like we do by all mitzvahs, say the bracha beforehand. So over here he was able to do it. Once it's passed, he doesn't say a bracha anymore. Okay. Safe trip. I tried to cover as much as we can. Taught in a brayso, asparagus. I would like to say that it's asparagus, but apparently it's not asparagus. It's some sort of
kombucha.
mixture. Yeah, maybe it's a kombucha.
It says it comes from the Greek asparagus. It's a type of cabbage that's soaked in wine or some other liquor, into which ground medicines were mixed according to the descriptions in early medicinal texts. This drink was used to induce BMs. Drinking too much, however, causes a result. It was a laxative.
A laxative. Okay. Asparagus. This sort of combination of some sort of vegetables with wine or beer, as we'll see soon. Yafel alev, it's good for the heart. Tov le'inayim, it's good for the eyes. V'kolshkin lebnei v'nayim, and definitely good for the stomach. V'haragel boy, someone that has this regularly. Yafel l'chol gufay, it's good for the whole body. V'mishtaker imeno, if someone gets drunk from it, kosher l'chol gufay, it's horrible for the body. It's good to have regularly, but never get drunk on it.
But the basic is wine with the
Could be.
vegetable.
Right. We'll see soon that there's different ways. Now that says me diktani yafalei. Once you say that it's good for the heart, mechlal de bechamraskin, and it must be that you're talking about that it's a wine base, because wine is good for the heart. Diktani, and it was taught v'kolshkin livnei me'ayin, that it's definitely good for the stomach. V'hatanya, but it was taught in a brayso, lilat yafel l'ramat kasher. Okay. We have a brayso that says this is an acronym. Lalat stands for Lev, Ayin, and Tchol, the heart, the eye, and the spleen. That means that it's good. This wine asparagus is good for the wine. It's good for the heart, the eyes, and the spleen, but it's bad for the head, the stomach, and the intestine. So why are we saying that it's definitely good for the stomach? It's bad for the. Is that what it is? Hemorrhoids? It's bad for the stomach. The Gemara says Kitan Yehi b'miyusha. Over there, it's talking about when it's aged wine is good for the stomach. Non-aged wine is not good for the stomach. Kiditanan, as was taught in the Mishnah. Koinam yayin shani tayim. The person says, "I'm taking a vow from wine. I'm not going to have any wine," and he explains his vow. Shayayin kashal b'nei mayim, because wine is bad for the stomach. People tell him, I'm rely. People tell him while he's taking this vow, says, yeah, you don't have your research correct. If it's old wine, it is good for the stomach. You took a vow, but you don't know what you're talking about. Old wine is good for the stomach. So Vishasa can he's quiet. So the Mishnah says, right? Mishnah says, Asr b'chadash, Amutar b'miyushin. He's not allowed to have new wine because that was his intention. That he's taking a vow, he doesn't want to have anything that's not good for his stomach. But he is able to have old wine, aged wine. I think it says 3 years.
2. 1 year.
2 years.
This is third year. So we see that aged wine is good for the stomach.
Here they translate intestine. Is that different from stomach?
There's two parts. There's the me'ayim, and then there's the tachtonia. You have the stomach, and then the intestines.
There's intestines and hemorrhoids.
Hemorrhoid, yes.
All the stomach.
Oh, so tachtonis you're saying is the hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Modern
So
Hebrew
then if that's the case, then me'ayim is all of the stomach, is all of the digestive tract. Taner Rabbanan was taught in a brisa. Shisha dvarim nemer b'aspargos. It says 6 things regarding asparagus. We're going to have a list of a whole bunch, but if we combine them together properly, then there's only 6. Ein shaysin leisayalak shuchai umalei. You can't drink asparagus unless it's chai. That means it can't be diluted, and the cup needs to be full. I don't know how it knows, but whatever. The cup needs to be full. Mekablei biyamin v'sheseo b'smal. They said this. They invented the thermos. They told this old fellow. They said, put stuff in it, and you put cold, it will stay cold. If you put hot in it, it will stay hot. He said, but how does it know? So okay, so
Tylenol or aspirin, though that the headache is in the head and not someplace else.
okay, so the first thing is let's join it together to make it fit with the number 6. It has to be raw. It has to be not raw. It has to be not undiluted, and the cup needs to be full. When you take the cup of asparagus, you have to take it in your right hand, and you drink it with your left hand. You pass it to your left hand to drink. Hey. That's the other way. No, the right, left, and then you put it into the right. I don't know. Ein mesichan acharav ve'ein mafsikan by. You can't talk after you drink it, and you can't interrupt while you're drinking it. When you finish the cup, you need to pass it back to the person that handed it to you, not to someone else. This is all the asparagus. You have to spit afterwards. I'm sorry. Afterwards, you can only eat something that it was made from. You can't eat anything else. The Gemara asks 1 second, because those are the 6. But Tanya and you said you can only support it with bread. That means afterwards you eat bread, not something that it's made with. What would be what it's made with? Whatever, I don't know, dates or something. Or if it's grapes, if it was made out of wine. Here it says only with bread. The Gemara says like kash. But the chamra, but the shifra. It depends. If it was made out of wine, then you can use bread. If it was made out of beer, then you can use what the beer, then you have to use what the beer was made from, which is probably in those days dates. They made beer from dates.
It says it's talking about this asparagus that's made out of beer.
Right.
So like it says dates after date beer, asparagus after asparagus.
No, it's only dealing with asparagus. But what was asparagus made from? Could have been made from wine, or could have been made from beer. In beer, there could have been different types. So so what do you have afterwards? It depends. Whatever it was made from. Either dates or what was the other option there?
Beer. Oh, dates after date beer.
Did he give another option for beer? Fig beer is such a thing. Okay, Tani Chada, one brisa taught Lalat Yafel Ramat Kasha. This is the acronym we had before. It's good for the heart, lave, eye, and chol, heart, eyes, and spleen, but it's bad for the head, the intestines, stomach, and hemorrhoids. The Tanya Yidach, another brisa says, L'ramat yafel lalat kasha, exactly the opposite. It's good for the head, the stomachs and intestines, and for hemorrhoids, but it's bad for the heart, eyes, and the spleen. Much just like kasha. It's not a problem. Habba the chamra, habba the shikha. Depends if it's wine or if it's beer. This is difficult for me because the Gemara before said that asparagus is good for both. Now we just said that it's only good for one, either one way or the other way. I don't know how it's going to reconcile that, right? We reconciled before. It says no, wine. Oh, that's good for the heart and it's good for the stomach. Now we're saying no. We're.
But he said here, oh yain, or beer. Then how you look on it.
Okay.
Well, what you do? If you do with wine, it's good for this, and not good for this. If you do beer, it's good for both of them.
Right. Problem is before the Gemara said the Taner Rabbanan Yafa Lalev and Yafa Kolshkin Lebnei Mayim. It's good for both. So 1 second, it's not good for both. You had a brisa. He said no, that was beer, but wine is good for both. Now we say wine is only good for this and not for that.
לא מעין תחתונים.
Oh no, it's the same brisa. It's the same quote. I don't understand. I'm not sure. Tanichad, one brisa says rakach of laika that if you spit afterwards it's harmful. Tanidach loy rakach of laika, one says if you don't spit afterwards it's harmful. Laikash, it's not a problem. Have the shecher. It depends. Beer or wine. Wine you don't spit, and beer you spit. It depends the saliva that comes afterwards if it's harmful. Amar Ravashi, Hashidam et leirakach of laika. Now that we say that if you don't spit afterwards it's harmful, name of nizrakan afil b'fnei melech, then the water. I'm sorry. Then the spit you could spit even in front of the king, which normally in front of the king you shouldn't spit. But here, if it's harmful, you're allowed to. Okay. What time do you have to leave? What time is class? Oh, you don't have class in Sunday. Excellent. I'm Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha. Shmuel ben Elisha we had, he was the Kohen Gadol, and we had Daf Tes or Daf Zayin. Yeah, on Daf Zayin we had. Rabbi Shmuel ben Elisha said one time he went in to offer Ketores, and he sees this angel of Hashem sitting, Hashem, angel of Hashem sitting there, and he says to him, bless me. Here he says, Rabbi Shmuel says, Shleisha Dvarim Sachli Surreal Sarapnim.
Here he says this is when they were Asara Rugema.
Ooh.
We have to go Maforet.
Wow. Who are they quoting? Who are they quoting?
Says it right here.
Did they quote So Shmuel ben Elisha says that this angel, very important angel, tells him three things. This is inside information. He says, "Al titel chalukcha b'shachris miyad hashamesh u'tilbash." Don't take your garment from the servant, from the assistant in the morning to put it on. You should take the garment yourself to get dressed. Al titel yadcha mishlei natal yadav. Don't let your hands get washed by someone that didn't wash his own hands. But the Kayanim, the lady has to wash his hands first. And always give the cup of asparagus back to the one that handed it to you. You always do that.
You have to bruise me, that's right.
What is that?
You have to bruise me.
That's right. I may have some already. That's a group of demons. That's a group of angels, destructive angels. They wait around for the person, and they say, when is someone going to do this? We want to catch him and we'll trip him up and we'll harm him if he does this. In other words, if you do these things, you can be harmed. Amar Rabbi Shua ben Levi. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says, Malach HaMavis told him three things. he went with the Malhamadas or something.
To Gan Eden.
Yeah. He didn't give back his sword, and then he had to give it back. One of them is Al Titel Chaluk Hashachas Miad Hashem Pilba. Don't take the garment from the servant to get dressed in the morning. Al Titel Yadcha Mimish Leinatul Yadav. Don't wash your hands from someone that didn't wash his own hands. Al Tamil Lifnei Nashim B'Shosh Chayzish Min HaMeis. And don't stand next to the women when they're returning from a funeral.
Wow.
Because I'm dancing there. The Bolif name, I'm walking in front of them. My sword is in my hand. The angel of death is dancing in front of the women that are returning from the funeral on their way back. The sword is in my hand. And I have permission to harm at that time. To stay away from the women as they're coming back from the funerals. And if you're there, what do you do? What should you do? Jump out of the way 4 amos. There's water there, go over to the other side. If you have another road, but go that way. There's a fence. You should go over the fence.
That's one of the reasons.
And if you're not able to do any of those, then lahadar at least turn around. The layman, you should say, Hashem said to the Satan, Hashem will get angry at you, etc. Until the women pass. Amar Rab Zeira, Amar Rabavo. Rab Zeira says the name of Rabavo. Vamri Laba Masisatan, and some say that it was taught in a brisa. Asara Devarim Nemar B'Keshel Bracha. 10 things are said regarding the cup of blessing. Oh, wasn't that interesting?
As a different
order. But is that what they quote that it says in the Zayah? Or from the Zayah? The Zayah is called Medrash Anelam. It could be referred to as that, the Medrash or Brisa. Ta'un Hadacha. It requires rinsing, shtifa, and washing. Chai has many interpretations. Some say that when you pour it into the cup, you don't mix it first. You mix the water in afterwards. Some say oh yeah. So it turns it all into wine.
Right. If you put the water in the water.
So it would be buffalo in the water. Some say that it means that it shouldn't be cooked wine. Some say it means a new barrel. Umale, the cup needs to be full. Eater, the Gemara is going to say what eater means. It means the crown. Eatuf, it's also surrounded. You take it with 2 hands. Nice to be a min, you put it into your right hand. Like you raise it above the ground 1 tefach. The nice name of bite, and you have your eyes on it the whole time. Those are 10 things. And some say after you send it as a gift to your wife. After you're done.
After Chazayin Adar, they used to give her everything like Kiddush. And one time, they gave him Kiddush and he spilled the cup over. He gave him Kiddush again, he spilled the cup over. 3 times he spilled the cup over. So they ran to Rabbi Groner and said, whoever doesn't want to make Kiddush, so that you wash out the cup. They washed out the cup and never make Kiddush.
Wow.
This was on what day?
It's after Chazayin Adar.
This story is great. It's a major story.
So it's very important to wash out your cup.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
But that's not.
It's a major
correct
story.
on Shabbos Friday.
You always have to wash out your
No, it's just the opposite. Why do people do this stuff with Havdalah? Because of the medicinal value of the yayin on Friday nights. If you wash it out, you lose that.
We never use the same condition.
So, Tosfos over here actually says,
by us, we wash it out.
I used to until I learned this because of Halacha.
Tosfos says that if the cup is clean anyway, it's okay. Okay, let's see. What Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan says, "Anu ein lanu al arba." You said 10 bilvad. You said that there's 10 things. We only have 4 things, and that is hadacha shtifa chayim alei. Wash, rinse, and rinse, wash. Yeah, we're going to say in a moment. Chai means undiluted. Amalia needs to be full, but or whatever means, whatever chai means. Tana was taught in a brayso. Hadach mefnim shtifa machutz. Chaim says that the washing, the rinsing is on the inside, and the washing is on the outside. I don't know what the difference is. I guess if you have to move your hands around it. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, "Kol mevarich al kois malei noisen le'nachlim b'mitzarim." Anyone that says a bracha on a full cup is given an inheritance without limits.
Wow.
So nemar malei birchas Hashem yam v'darim yirasha, filled with the blessing of Hashem. The yam is the west, the in the south. He inherits. It means he'll inherit from all sides. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina says, he'll merit to have 2 worlds. Because it says Yerusha, there's an extra yud and a hey in there, and the yud represents the world to come, and the hey is this world. So he inherits both worlds. Rabbi Yosef Bar Chanina, Eater. What does eater mean? We said one of the 10 things was eater, which means surrounded by. It's crowned. Rabbi Yehuda Matreo b'talmidim. Rabbi Yehuda would surround it with his students. That thing where you pour it in, it's surrounded by other cups, and you pour it in. So, but we always would see, when someone would make kiddush, like in the show or whatever, they would have like a tray, and it would have all the small cups with the little grape juice or something, and then someone would make the big cup was in the center, and that would be nice. That would be this, I guess. Amar Rav Chanan ubechai. Chanan says it's supposed to be raw. Rav Sheshes, I don't know what he's adding there. Rav Sheshes u'bebirchas ha'aretz, and he adds wine when he reaches birchas ha'aretz. Second blessing. Rav Papa ma'atif v'yasef. Rav Papa would cover himself in the talis, and he would sit down when he would say the blessing. Ravasi parasudra al reshe, he would put the cloth over his head. Ravasi noitli b'shtei yadav, takes it with 2 hands. Am Rav Chanina bar Papa, Mikra. Chanina bar Papa. You're gonna be this Rav Chanina bar Papa. He says, Mikra. Oh. Ooh. That's why he adds it then. Very nice. What's the pasuk that says that you take it in 2 hands? So yedechem kaidesh. You raise up your hands in holiness of Brachos Hashem and bless Hashem. Yedechem, the plural. Nicely, and then you put it into your right hand. Rav Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Chia bar Abba says, "Name Rabbi Yochanan Yishanim Shalu." They asked, "Small ma'u shetasayelamin." The early ones asked, "Could the left one assist the left hand assist the right hand when it's holding the cup? Or could you hold it? You need to be only in the right hand, or can you use the left hand to assist?" Rashi says, since the early sages asked this, and they didn't answer it, we will be strict. Okay, when you hold it only in the right hand at the time of the blessing, on top of nun aleph amud beis. 51b. Magbiya ben a karka tefach, lift it off the ground one tefach. What's the pasuk that says this? I raise up the cup of salvation and I call out the name of Hashem. It means you have to raise it up. The nice name of and you have to look at it so that you shouldn't lose concentration. The whole time you should be concentrating on what you're doing. You send it to your wife, the matana, that your wife should be blessed with this wine, the wine from blessing. Okay.
You pass it to her?
Yeah, you say, well, if there's people there, then you send it through down the table. Send this to the.
Wow. A couple wanted to make kiddush on
After you're finished. After you drink from it, you pass it down to the women.
Yeah, but it's not yain pagum, Rabbi. You have to add
Here,
into
there's
it.
more detail.
If you change cups, if you drink from the same cup, it's fine.
I think same cup is okay.
Better than you should pass it.
Depends how you do it. There's different ways of doing it. There's 4 different ways of doing it.
Listen, it's
Yeah.
amazing stuff.
Yeah, we said that you pick it up with 2 hands
He must have been,
and then you put it into your right, right? Isn't that what you said?
We do that? Yes.
No, the Gemara
Persian.
doesn't do that. How the custom came about to right, left, right,
אז
left.
מתחילים
Yeah,
בפרשה.
just 2 hands.
אבל מה עם הפרשה?
הכי טוב.
Question. It says
תסתכל,
in
עכשיו
Markia, meaning
תקרא מה על הפרשה.
Yeah,
so is it assuming you're sitting on the floor and
that's
eating?
what I
תקרא
think
לי
so.
על הפרשייה.
I think so.
So a substitute table for
תקרא,
that?
תקרא, אל תתבייש.
Yeah.
עכשיו,
תמשיך כבודו.
Sometimes you see these guys, they take it and see, tefach,
שורה לשואלים.
they measure it.
Around 6'3".
Read Rachel? That's very high. To hold it up with your hand. That's very high. It
Because
says
it's the Rebbe wrote this in his commentary to the Haggadah.
that you hold it 3
And
tefachim
also,
high.
no, so the first Gemara said we just pick up the line,
Give him a bar of chocolate.
and then Gemara says 3 tefachim, right?
If you don't have one,
Oh boy. Okay, interesting.
give him a
Okay,
light.
listen to this story. Ula, Ikla Labei Rav Nachman. Ula is at the house of Rav Nachman. Chaim, you mentioned this story before.
It was already done. Menachos, I think you were.
Really?
Yeah, it's the second time we read the story, 100%. This story has more details than last. It's an important story. Pay attention.
So, Ula is at the house of Rav
Especially if you're
Nachman.
married to a Persian
Karach Rifta.
lady, Persian lady, not Persian guy.
They ate bread. Baruch Berchas Mezayna. And he said after blessing, you have the kisa de Berchas Rav Nachman. He passes the cup of blessing to Rav Nachman after benching. He says very great often, and he drinks, and he gives it to Rav Nachman to drink as well. It's a cup of blessing. Amalei Rav Nachman. Shadamar kasa de Berchas Liyalta. Send the cup of blessing to Yalta. That's the name of Rav Nachman's wife. Amalei. So Ula says, Hachem Rabbi Yechanan. He's a traveler. Ula goes back and forth. He says what was said in Eretz Yisrael. In Eretz Yisrael, he knows what Rabbi Yechanan says. He says, "Ein pribidin shalishim esparach halam pribidin shalish." The fruit of a woman, the children, I guess, are blessed from the man. Shenamar beirach pribidnacha, and it will bless the fruit of your insides. Pribitna loinem doesn't say her insides. So pribitnacha, your insides, referring to the man. Tanya nami hachi. It's also taught in the Brachos of Nassanheimer. How do you know that a woman's insides are blessed from a man's insides? From the husband. Doesn't say her insides, it says your insides, referring to the man. Adahachi, Shama Yalta. While this is happening, Yalta, Rav Nachman's wife, hears this. Kama Bezira. She gets up with anger. Also, Lebei Chamra, she goes to the wine. Sounds like a wine roof. But the Tavra Dalad Me'edani the Chamra, she broke 400 barrels of wine.
וואו. זה הייתה מרוקאית.
Morocco, I tell you that.
Wow, man.
No.
You never mentioned
She really
Persian.
wanted that wine.
Amalei
Money is all.
She really wanted that wine.
Amalei Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman says,
Yeah,
"Nishadli
take a knife.
Mar Kisach Kasachrina." Rav Nachman tells to Ula, send her another cup. Shalach lei sends to her.
That'll sleep
He
in
sends
the
to
house.
her, Kol Hai Navka de Birchasahi. What is Navka? all of this cup,
He said all the wine in the barrel is considered the cup of blessing.
yeah, all of the wine is considered a
Trying to
blessing.
salve it.
All of this is,
I'm afraid that I lost the gist of this story. What's the story about?
So we'll finish and he'll explain.
we have the cup of wine when the Ula benched at Rav Nachman's house. He gave the cup to Rav Nachman to drink. Rav Nachman says, send it to my wife to drink from it, so she should get the blessing. He says, no, it's not necessary to give to the wife. It's more important the man should drink. And he quotes a Torah source that the man gets the blessing and then the woman gets the blessing through the man, not the. So Yalta is hearing that she's not deserving the cup of wine. She goes up and she breaks 400 barrels of wine. Rav Nachman tells
Don't
Ula,
teach us the mark your wife.
Rav Nachman tells Ula, send her another cup of wine. So Ula sends to her, all of this is from the same barrel, it's all blessing. So Sholchalei, she sends to him, Mi Maduri Mile. Maduri Mile means from the guy that, like the peddler, he has nice words. He says like just plain words. Misamartute Kalme, and she says from spoiled clothing comes out lice. From old clothing. Yeah.
So she was a daughter of the Rish Galus.
She was the daughter of Rish.
From royal.
Yeah, she was used to getting treated better than the way that she's being treated here.
And Rav Nachman said of himself that he's Mashiach. For that kind of wife, you feel you gotta be Mashiach.
What are we learning?
היא הייתה צאצא של בית דוד.
Know who your host and hosted by.
Well, what are we learning
הוא
from
לא היה,
this?
היא הייתה.
Oh, yeah, son-in-law.
Apparently, we said that you're supposed to send it to the wife. You're supposed to send it to the wife. That was one of the 10 things. Or the Yeshaimim, I'm sorry, that's the 11th thing. And Yalta had held like that. Rav Nachman definitely held that it's supposed to go to the wife. And Ula says, no, it doesn't have to go to the wife. That's a good question. I'm not sure. I have to check it up. I'm Rabasi.
So do we quote this when we don't like somebody? From like children, peddlers come idle words. From old rags come lice.
From old rags come lice.
It says the halacha is that you have to give wine from the cup. Special bracha to your wife.
Oh, it says something like that? Okay, good.
In accordance with the thing of Rav Nachman.
Very good. And Yalta, apparently. It's funny.
I think after the place came saw the occurrence, they're like, let's make halal electric.
Yeah. More.
We all have this one, and
We only have so many barrels of wine.
Ravasi says, "Ein masichan al kais shel bracha." You don't talk until the blessing is made, so you don't interrupt. And Amar Ravasi mevarchen al kais shel pranas. Ravasi says you don't say a blessing on a cup of punishment. My kais shel pranas. What is a cup of punishment? Amar Rav Nachman, it's a kais sheni. If you drink a second cup, that's a problem. There's a Gemara Psachim that talks about not having things in pairs. And you shouldn't have 2 cups of wine. If you have 2, then you have to have a third one. So the second cup, you don't say a blessing on. So there's problems with that, demons and other things.
Since Rav Nachman had his status as the based in and a judge, because it was dependent on his marriage to Yalta, because she was so important. So that helped him in his status.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's Rabbi Steinfeld said that.
Okay.
So Lamaisa, this is during Friday night, Saturday day. Abdullah said,
Yeah, Abdullah not. Abdullah, you don't have to drink that. Abdullah, you don't
they
have
used to say
to
we
drink.
were kids and stuff, go home and drink some of the cup. She goes to the
By Abdullah, only the
As a
person
kid,
making
they used to
Abdullah.
say that if a girl drinks Abdullah cup, she grows a beard.
The story with the
I don't know. There's got to be some source to that.
Not necessarily. Kais shel bracha is from the wine of the cup of blessing.
But not Abdullah.
Right.
wine.
I don't know. Tanya Namiyachi was also taught in a brayso Shesik Kaflayim, known as 2 cups leyavarech, Mishum Shenemar Fin Lakrasa Lekechi Yisrael. You prepare yourself to greet in front of Hashem, and this is not being prepared. This is punishment to have 2 cups. Amar Abavo says, "V'amilav Maslisa Tana." Some say it was taught in a brayso. Ha'oichel Ma'aleh. Someone that is eating and walking. If he says a bracha, he has to stand still when he says the bracha.
Why is this person not prepared? Because he drank 2 cups of wine? Because drinking an even number of cups of wine is dangerous to the humans.
Right. So,
it wasn't.
I'm sorry. That's why it comes in the Gemara Pesachim. The Gemara Pesachim that says this says, how could we have 4 cups? There's a problem. It's a zuga. It's an even number. No. It says that's a night of protection. Or there's answers over there. If he's when he's eating, when he's standing, levarich miyushav, then he sits when he says the blessing. I guess benching. If he's reclining when he's eating, yoshev levarich, then he has to sit up. By all of these cases, you sit straight and you bench sitting. Let's start the new Mishnah. This Mishnah is going to have a lot of interesting things. The Gemara is going to explain it. We'll just do it today, just so tomorrow we can start from the Gemara. These are differences between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel at a meal. Beis Shammai says that first you say, let's say in Kiddush, ignore Vayechulu. Ignore that part. Let's just talk about the blessings. The blessings would be Bar Priagafen and Mekadesh HaShabbos. Beis Shammai says first you say Mekadesh HaShabbos, and at the conclusion you say Bar Priagafen. Beis Hillel says no. First you say Bar Priagafen, and then you say Mekadesh HaShabbos, which is the way we do it. Beis Shammai says first you wash your hands, and then you mix the wine. Probably Kiddush or something. Wash your hands before Kiddush. And Beis Hillel no, first you mix the wine and then you wash your hands. Beis Shammai says that you wipe your hand on the cloth and you put the cloth on the table. Beis Hillel says no, don't put the cloth on the table, put it on the chair. Beis Shammai says that first you clear away all the crumbs from the table, and then you wash mayim achrayim. First you wash mayim achrayim, you leave the crumbs on the table till after. Beis Shammai say ner umazen b'samim v'avdallah. First you say the blessing on the candle by Avdallah. Then you say the benching, if you're coming right after a meal. Then you say the b'samim, and then you recite Avdallah. Nero b'samim u'mazon Avdallah. First you say the candle, then the b'samim, then the mazon, then the benching, and then you do Havdalah immediately afterwards. That's what it would be if there would be a meal that you're using 1 cup of wine for the meal and for Havdalah, you would do it like that. Who created the source of fire. Who creates the sources of fire. Different term for the source of fire. Source or sources might be plural. You're not allowed to say a bracha on the candle of Avodah Zarah or on spices of Avodah Zarah. You can't say a bracha on the candle or on spices of a corpse. Which I guess they would use it to make it smell better. I'm sorry, the first one was a guy, was a non-Jew. Now it's of a non-Jew. Now it's of an Avodah Zarah. You can't make a blessing on the candle until you have benefit from its light. All of this will be explained in the Gemara. Someone that ate, but he forgot to say benching. Beis Shammai says he returns to his place. He has to go back to his location where he ate. You can bench wherever you are. But Muslim Mevarech, how long do you have to bench? At Kadesh, Yisakal HaMasan Shebemeir, until it's digested, till the food is digested. Once it's digested, it's too late. And if wine comes after the meal, he only has 1 cup of wine. Yishami says first you say the bracha on the wine, then you say the bracha on the benching. Which is similar to his opinion before as well. You say the bracha first on the wine, but it's not exactly the same. You bench and you say the blessing on the afterwards on the wine. You have the cup for benching. You respond to main after a Jew that says a bracha. But you can't say a main after a kuti says a blessing. Unless you heard that he's saying, bless you Hashem. You have to know who he's blessing. Could be he's blessing someone else. You have to hear the whole blessing. Okay.
In the Zohar, it says 2 more things. You need to say Mizmor David because it's crazy Ravaya.
Okay.
Your cup should be overflowing. And it says you have to have Hakal Kapuf.
What is that? An apple orchard?
What's an apple orchard?
Canadian.
What?
Canadian.
What?
Canadian.
You gotta be in the orchard of apples in order to say